This playthrough is rated M for mature.
Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare back here with another episode of Will, A Wonderful World. In the last episode, we had a little trouble trying to figure out like what scenes do we need to set to get to next. Although we did notice an alternate path to putting the sleeping pills in the one-armed man's drink, and we also found out about Live in the Archives with Chang. However, off screen, I found out that I'd forgotten to set this to S after everything had been done because it was still on like the either A or X or whatever it was. But setting it to X unlocked the Life Unknown and Cell 28. So, whoops. Oh well. It actually didn't take me that long to figure it out at all. I was just I forgot to set everything back to S before everything just to see where it was. So let's try out this new person, Life Unknown. Okay. I'm trying to think of my voice to give him because I already have a southern voice.
5 years wasn't really a long time, but when I looked down on Hong Kong from the airplane window, all I could remember was some fraction memories about the city. Everything I could remember about Hong Kong seemed to be connected to a coffee shop called Maple House. However, when I finally found the old address of the coffee shop, there was only a real estate agency at the location. I tried asking around the neighborhood, and people had told me that the matron of the coffee shop had died in an accident. They also said a few regular customers had tried to keep the shop open in his name, but the landlord had refused to extend the lease. That meant that I didn't really have a reason to stay in the city any longer. I felt a little disappointed. Nevertheless, instead of wandering the streets aimlessly, I might as well go back to the UK sooner. My mental condition hadn't been very stable recently. I suffered an attack here. My doctor friend half a world away wouldn't be of much help. For example, just earlier. No, actually, I couldn't even tell how much earlier just earlier really was. As far as I could remember, it had been a clear night. I was walking out to the alley in front of the coffee shop while I pulled my blazer tighter around myself. It was quite dark in the alley, except for a pale white moonlight shining down from above. I unintentionally looked up at the moon. Then all of a sudden, I felt the moonlight getting brighter and brighter, and it was almost blinding. After a deafening moment of buzzing in my ears, I blacked out. When I woke up again, I found myself lying in the bed of the hotel room I had booked. On the other side of the same bed, another man with a scruffy face and long hair was lying down snoring loudly with no inhibitions. Who was this man? Did we have the roughest of... had he brought me back here? How would he even know that I had been staying here? I nervously rummaged through his luggage. Well, at least you guessed the combination on it, right? Beside a camera and some daily necessities, I also found a passport and a work ID. Apparently he was a policeman from Korea, maybe here as a tourist. Perhaps he was just a good Samaritan who had decided to return the lost item he had found by the road. After I calmed myself down, I realized that I was still wearing the same clothes as before I had left. The wrinkles on my clothes and the germs on the bed from the other man were both making me feel quite uneasy. In any case, I couldn't call for room service before he left, so I decided to get changed first. I changed in my clean clothes and walked in the main room. I sat down and sunk myself into the soft couch. I don't know why I said cushion. The digital clock on the table said it was almost 10 p.m. on Tuesday night. Time to go partying. Taco Tuesday, you know. I decided to think about something before the man woke up. I used to want to become a doctor. Well, that's something to think about. But I never did. The reason was that while I'd been studying for qualifications, I discovered that a serious condition. I was a weenie. I was a goofy goober. It was called a selective cognitive dissonance. It was a hereditary disease. A person who suffered from this disease could selectively manipulate their own memories about people and events based on their own psychological condition. Simply put, their own brain would tamper with their memories without them realizing it. When I first found out that I had this condition, I also realized that all of my memories might not be accurate, or even true at all. Or someone could have been lying to you. I was terrified. I couldn't stop myself from second-guessing the truth of my own memory. I was in the UK at the time, and I had a psychologist friend. He helped by treating me with a hypnosis therapy. The treatments allowed me to forget the unpleasant memories from my past. He told me that I was an entirely different person after the therapy. Afterwards, I had a few good years, but there were some side effects too. I couldn't remember what my parents looked like, nor where my home was. For the past 2 years, there had been more serious reactions too. As some fragmented, horrifying images would suddenly flash before my eyes, and I would feel severely sick or even pass out. My friend told me that the hypnosis might be wearing off, or that my condition might be deteriorating. Whatever the case, we had decided to do another session after I had finished my trip to return to the UK. I was staring at the TV opposite the couch when I suddenly sensed an inexplicable chill spreading over my entire body. Chills, frills, bumblebills. It felt like the entire room was spinning, and I could hear nothing but an overwhelming buzzing in my ear. Uh-oh, who let out the bees? At the same time, a number of unimaginable visions were swirling through my mind. I could feel it. I could feel a crack opening in my brain. And something sticky, rotten, and pitch black was coming out of a cocoon. I was having a relapse. I held my arm tightly around myself. I knew I was about to completely lose control. Lose control, huh? I don't even know what reference I was going for. There was a knife at the nearby desk. I could see my own reflection in the blank TV screen. My face was gradually overlapping with some of the gruesome visions in my head. It was too late. I remembered. I remembered everything. My parents' faces, my home, and my hellish childhood. The buzzing in my ears and the spinning were morphing into excruciating pain, pinching every single nerve of my body. Those bloody memories and the cruel truth that they implied were pushing me to the brink of sanity. If I was on that edge, my illness would take over my mind and push me over the edge, or cliff, and then history would repeat itself. I did not want to become someone I hated again. I do not. I cannot. I refuse. I must stop myself. I picked up the knife on the desk and stabbed myself in the throat at the perfect angle and the perfect death. Wow, way to ruin a moment, Vauldemare. I could not afford to leave anything to chance. Goodbye, Dad, Mom, this world. I just hope that in my next life I could be a good, healthy child. Question mark. Yeah, well, there goes that guy. That was temporary at best. I sat on the bottom bed at the bunk, only at the time. I did that one voice for so long. I held my head in my hand, thinking about the most baffling question at the moment. Why was I in prison? About half a day ago, two policemen arrested me on the street. They put me in the patrol car and brought me straight here, Hong Kong Central Prison. No one would ever answer any of my questions. They beat me up whenever I showed any resistance. Then they just threw me inside the empty room. There was nothing in here except a bunk bed, a wooden desk, a sink, and a toilet. If I was in an adventure game, it'd be a way to escape this place, but not here. This is a different game. I didn't even have a window. I suppose that is what they called a jail cell. Cell 28, open up. Cell 28, open up. The door opened from the outside. Someone came in. Right, it must be a prank by Ren and the guys. They were probably just trying to give me a good scare. They must be getting me out now. However, the person that came in had a pale face whiter than the wall, and a pair of clips redder than blood. He was also wearing a strange long robe. It was a ghost! A ghost! I had always been afraid of ghosts since I was a little kid. I jumped inside the bed and hid under the blankets, trembling in fear. Get out, your bed is on the top one. Don't lie and mind how dirty. I heard a soft voice from outside the blanket. It actually sounded like a human. I climbed under the bed and stood aside, watching the new person change into the prison uniform and wash himself. He seemed to be right at home. Soon the scary ghost had become a short, young man with a clean haircut and innocent-looking face. He was my cellmate, Hataru. Although we had just met, Hataru was a really easygoing guy. He immediately told me everything about how he ended up here. Hataru was from Japan. He had a long-term girlfriend from China. Ooh la la. The only problem was that the girl came from a very prestigious family. They didn't approve of Hataru. However, they still kept seeing each other in secret. They could fly across the sea every once in a while just to be together. Eventually, they realized they would never receive a family's blessings, so they decided to elope. Unfortunately, when they were finally ready to run away together, the girl was killed in an accident. Hataru was devastated. I would be too. Being so far away in Japan, he didn't know what had really happened to her. He came to Hong Kong and tried to talk to the girl's relatives and friends that he knew, hoping to piece together the clues. His final efforts finally paid off. In the end, he learned that one of her family members was responsible for her death. What kind of family was that, dude? She was merely collateral damage and a vicious power struggle. Hataru wanted to avenge her death, but he didn't have any power and any connections in this distant land. He had to seek help. He remembered a professional assassin he had known in Japan. He was famous for his creative ways of eliminating targets. Some people referred to him as the Magician. It's magic! What type of mission? Like David Copperfield, the Masked Magician, Penn and Teller? Who are we talking about? He also had a strange hobby, old adult magazines. Oh, is that Zuko, maybe? Hataru was able to find out that the magician happened to be in Hong Kong at the time, too. However, hire him and required lots and lots of money, which Hataru didn't have. Hataru began to do everything he could for money, even blow guys on the side of the alley. Eventually he dabbled in some illegal activities. Eventually he was caught and thrown into prison. He still wouldn't stop. To him, the prison was just another society, not like the one outside. It was populated by plenty of residents with all kinds of different values. It wasn't just the guards or the warden. Even some of the prisons might have unusual and powerful backgrounds behind them. Hataru hustled among these people. He was willing to do everything and anything for a profit.
He smuggled contraband. He traded information with the prisoners. He gambled with them. He bribed the guards, complimented them, sometimes even sold his own body. Well, I was joking about that, but I guess that's true. Hataro said as long as he could get his rent, he didn't care about himself at all. He began to choke up. I was so angry after hearing his story. I was also feeling both admiration and sympathy towards Hataro. If I were in his shoes, I probably wouldn't be able to do what he had done. Unfortunately, I had no more than a few $100 on me, and that was all I could give him for now. I believed every word Hataro told me. Aren't you having your own issues? Aren't you supposed to try to find your sister and all? Okay, whatever. The next day during lunchtime, I was mocked relentlessly by the other prisoners. Son, you should be thankful that you only had a few $100 on you. I told you he was going to fall for it. Hurry, give me 100. What kind of story did he tell you this time? Deceased parents? Although what he said is not entirely made up either. I hear 9 guards out of 10 are here. I've played around with them. I was so angry that I dropped my spoon and ran back to my cell. Hataro was sitting on the bed with his legs crossed, making a pyramid out of poker cards. You lying bastard! Give me back my money. Hataro paid me no attention. He just put 2 more cards on top of the pyramid. A mini TV was playing a Japanese prank show near his knees. The sound of laughter came out of the TV right on cue, as if they were mocking me too. I stepped forward and turned out the TV. You monster! I dragged him off of the bed angrily. The pyramid of cards collapsed. They scattered all over the floor. There in the cell, scene of suddenly frozen. People began to gather right outside the cell. A tall, strong guard walked in through the crowd. I recognized him. He was the one who had taken my mug shot when I came in and searched my belongings. I seem to recall that he was from the UK. Everyone called him Morgan. I was about to tell Morgan what happened when he punched me right in the face. Hataro wasn't completely lying, at least. Everyone here might have some kind of unusual background behind them. Why was I so unfortunate? Not only did I end up in prison, but I also had to live with such a bastard of a cellmate. Lord, was this part of your trial for me? Carlos. Sorry, Carlos. You done been dicked in jail, which usually happens to everyone at least once. Alright, well, let's solve this. The little mystery. Okay, what do we got? Oh, right after. Okay, I have to get the history first. Alright, Carlos has 4, and Mystery Man has 6. Did he say his name? I don't think he did. No. Okay. Well, I assume most of these are probably going to be just from choosing most of the options. Okay, let's see. Okay, so probably have to stop this guy from killing himself, obviously. But let's see if we can figure out some bad options first. But let's go with the whole tried and true everything on one side and see what that gets us. I didn't look like I was going to get my money back. What else could I do? Should I hit him? No, I couldn't do something like that. I paced around the small yard for 20 laps. As I realized that I would have to spend my time with him day after day, I felt even more depressed. If only there were some other way to teach him a lesson without violence. Why was I so unfortunate? Not only did I end up in prison, I also lived with a bastard. Okay, that's the same.
The policeman was no longer asleep. He was standing at the door to the bedroom. He was holding his head in his hands, looked confused and neurotic. He looked at me as if I had done something despicable to him. However, I was the one who was really losing control. The image of him screaming monster at me lingered in my brain. The horrifying fragments of memories were beginning to come clear and clear. What, do we have a night together that he didn't really want? Ha, 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 or ho, 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 ho. I couldn't control myself. I chuckled, then laughed, then screamed. I felt some changes that happened inside me, something not quite right. To make sure that I still could control myself, I picked up the knife on the desk and lunged at him. I stabbed him in the shoulder. He suddenly dropped his defending hands and became extremely quiet. Next, I saw his eyeballs twitching and he mumbled something. I had a bad feeling, so I tried to pull the knife out, but my right hand was caught. I looked at him again. I couldn't believe my eyes. The person standing in front of me had the same face as the policeman, but I knew they could not have been the same man. He had turned into something different, something much more frightening. So you're a monster. He twisted my arm with superhuman strength and pushed the knife I was holding into my own throat. Oh, sorry. You're a monster. And those were the last words I ever said in this world. I wonder. It's probably nothing. Alright, bad ending and A ending for Carlos. Looks like Carlos only has a couple of options anyway, so. Alright. Okay, let's see what this gets us. I bet, since he's got more endings, I assume we have to adjust some of his options to get some different ones. The image of the woman on TV, hysterically screaming, "Monster!" lingered in my eyes. Yeah, this is another case of not trust the author, because he's not even sure what his own memories are. Why was I having such strong reaction to this word? A few blurry visions were beginning to come together in my head. Some of them were starting to become even clearer. There was a room without light, a man who looked like a doctor, and me as a child. He was a monster, and his actions destroyed my sense of self. When we clashed with each other, only one could survive. I felt some changes happening inside me. It felt so good, as if a group of people had been tolerating a smoker in an enclosed space, and then the smoker was suddenly killed by a falling meteor. I picked up the knife and walked into the bedroom. There was one tiny detail that had been bothering me for a while. I opened his luggage again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I confirmed that the necessities did not belong to just one person, neither were they new. And there were multiple pairs of underwear in different sizes. My confused memories failed to fill in the missing pieces. I pushed the knife against his throat lightly, thinking that I would conduct an interrogation on him once he woke up. I didn't know that his instinct to danger was much stronger than I ever expected. Click, click, boom. Double tap. Before I knew it, the black barrel of a gun was pushing on my left temple. Mr. Policeman, who just woke up, was on the other side of the gun. I could tell from his expression that he was afraid. That was truly frightening. I dropped the knife. You're a monster. He pulled the trigger, and those were the last words I ever said in this world. And sucks for this guy. Alright, what do we got? Okay. Let's try some simple stuff now. Okay. Let's see, that should get it. Yeah. I was supposed to say, that should get something. Threaten him with a knife, dude. I angrily dragged him off the bed. I grabbed the knife on the desk and held against his pale, tender neck. The pyramid of cards collapsed and they scattered all over the floor. There in the cell seemed to suddenly frozen. I just wanted to scare him, and surprisingly it worked. Otaro said he would give me my money back the next day. Yeah, right. However, on the next day, not only did I not see a penny of my money, I was moved into another cell. Since then, I would often find my food tickets gone. There's a ticket needed to exchange for food. The earliest food ticket was the flour purchase permit issued in November 1953 in Beijing. The face value of the ticket denotes the weight of certain grocery or produce that one can purchase with the ticket, such as 1 pound or 0.5 pounds, etc. During the period when similar tickets were in circulation in China, there was rampant black market trade for these tickets. People who were caught trading them illegally could be taken into custody and even sentenced to jail. In the 1960s, there were people convinced of forging fake tickets by hand due to severe famine. In November 1992, these tickets were officially taken out of circulation. Nowadays, such tickets do not have any practical value anymore. However, they are considered valuable by dedicated collectors. Their typical market value can be ranged from hundreds to thousands of won. The rarest one can be worth millions. For practical purposes, the food ticket mentioned today mostly refers to the tickets that could be acceptable as payment for food in some private organizations. Since there are usually a limited amount of them, they can't be exchanged for other items and are typically non-replaceable. In certain situations, the amount of the food ticket could signify one's social status in said organizations. When conflicts or needs arise, there is nothing one food ticket can resolve. If there is, then you just need 2 tickets. Or my uniform thrown in the toilet, stained with filthy things. But my new cellmate was a huge meathead. I didn't dare compare it to anyone who met him. Otaro never returned my money, but somehow I found myself missing him a little. Okay. Talk about Stockholm Syndrome. I could see my own reflection on the blank TV screen. My face was gradually overlapped with some of the gruesome visions in my head. It was too late. I remembered. I remembered everything. My parents' faces, my home, and my hellish childhood. The buzzing in my ears. Oh, let's see, is that? Alright. Play memories. I think this is all new. The buzzing in my ears, the spinning were morphing into excruciating pain, pinching every single nerve of my body. These bloody memories, cruel truth they applied, were pushing me to the brink of sanity. If I was on the edge, my illness would take over my mind and push me over the cliff. The history repeats itself. I did not want to become someone I hated again. I did not. I cannot. Oh, okay, this is the same. What did I do? I stopped myself. I pulled the window open and looked down to the ground 50 floors below. Oh, good. I stepped over the bars and fell to the concrete. I could not afford to leave anything to chance. Goodbye, Dad, Mom, this world. I just hope that in my next life I could be a good, healthy child. So instead of stabbing himself, he just jumps to his rank B is like in his food tickets taking everything. Huh. Anyway, yeah, jumping to his death, huh? How nice. Anywho, okay. Let's move some stuff around again. Okay, let's try. Maybe this would work? No. I might flip them and see if that does anything. Although we might, since I think found Carlos is except for his last one, so right, so The police was no longer asleep. He was standing at the door to the bedroom. He was holding his hand in his hand and looked confused and neurotic. He looked at me as if I'd just done something despicable to him. However, I was the one who was really losing control. Oh no, this is horrifying images. I couldn't control myself. I felt some changing. Made something quite right to make sure. Control myself. I relented him. We were tangled together, hitting each other as hard as we could with our fists and feet. I needed to leave what was piling onto my mind in the most primal way. I pushed his head away with my hand and slammed it into the TV screen, which then shattered into pieces. But it didn't win the fight. The black barrel of a gun was pushed against my temple. The person who was holding the gun had the same face as the policeman, but I could see something different, something much more. Right, and you're a monster. Pulled the trigger, and those were the last words I ever said. That was an A rank? Dude. Okay, well, I guess. I guess getting shot in your story is an A rank. Why not? Okay. Try it again. Let's see. Okay. Ah, there we go. We unlocked both their stories now. Cool. At least we made some progress this episode, like the last episode. We got some stories, but I felt like I wasted like half that episode. I looked at the fruit bag, and I had an idea. I decided to swallow my anger. For now. Later that night, I was lying on the top bunk, waiting with my eyes open. Hotaru turned in his sleep. Squeak! Bang! The entire bed shook violently, and I heard a panicked scream under me. I looked down, feigning ignorance. The bottom bunk had only had a metal framelit. There was a few broken pieces of wood on the floor, and the screws I had loosened up earlier were lying instantly in the corner of the cell. Hotaru sat to the floor in shock, still processing what had just happened. Ha ha ha! You sucker! Back at the orphanage, there had been a fat little kid who had always bullied me. I once taught him a lesson in the same way. Although I was scolded by Alicia, it still felt really good. They needed a week to fix the bottom bunk. In the meantime, Hotaru was temporarily moved to another cell. Being in the cell alone was quiet. And it's almost quiet. Too quiet. I used to sleep in the top bunk in the orphanage. Alicia would sleep on the bottom one. It wasn't a sturdy bunk bed. Alicia would have to hold the bed every time I climbed up. Otherwise, I felt like the bed would immediately topple over. Oh, how I wish I would find her sleeping down there when I woke up. Don't wish too much about your sister now. I flipped the wet pillow, lay on my head again, and closed my eyes. Oh, he was crying. I had seriously started thinking about what to do next. Huh. That guy took your few $100 and nothing came of it, and he didn't serve any punishment. Well, life is like that anyway. The image of the woman on the TV. Oh, let's see why. Some are starting to become clear. The room with his odd lights. A man who looked like a doctor. Oh, he's a child. He's a monster. He was a monster, and he actually destroyed my sense of self. He clashed with each other. Only one could survive. I felt some changes happening inside me. It felt so good, as if a group of people had been tolerating a smoker in a closed space, and then the smoker was suddenly killed by a falling meteor. I left the hotel. I walked in the middle of the street under the pale moonlight. I used to believe God was real when I was a kid. But if he or she were real, none of those things would have happened to me. People like me, we really don't need a god. We just needed a dagger. I decided to stay in Hong Kong. There must be a lot of people here who could use a dagger like this. A dagger like me. So you just decided to become a killer? Or, I don't know. I have a strong idea who this character is, but I'm not going to say anything until the game otherwise mentions. But, alright. Well, there's that. Okay. Have we unlocked anything else at this point? Oh, we could. I was about to say, well, what can we do now? I was like, well, yeah, the whole point of doing this is so we could do Li Wen and Jimmy's story of the story of the rainbow and Big Brother. So, the mountain was called Shualei Mountain. The name ain't a mountain with two dragons. Oh yeah, in this story she told him that he had died of cancer, right? So I mean, what is her reaction after this to that, huh? I don't know. I guess we'll find out after playing on for a little bit, I guess, just to see what's going on. In weather like this, one can see the most beautiful rainbows on the mountain when the rain stopped. The rain was beating down on the bus window. It washed the view outside into a blur. The only thing recognizable was the blurry greenish mountain that was getting closer and closer. He's got cancer, stomach cancer, late stage. He's got cancer, stomach cancer, late stage. Okay. You're repeating yourself. Miss Yang's words kept echoing in my head. Oh, I thought you'd already passed. Oh, no. No, that's right. No, he had the cancer and hadn't died yet. He was close. Why did he tell me? Were you guys really I mean, yeah, you were friendly with him a couple times, but were you really that close? Then again, maybe a lot of stuff happens in between the letters that we don't know about, so
Why would you just leave me like this in secret? Because he had cancer? Okay. I thought we were at least friends. Yeah, friends. Once again, I've been left all alone. At the foot of the mountain, the ranger told me that hiking had been temporarily suspended due to the high probability of mudslides. I managed to sneak past him when he wasn't paying attention. I was hiking up one step at a time along the wet and slippery red steps. The school uniform had gotten soaked inside and out. My shoes were covered in mud. I looked up. I was maybe 100 meters away from the summit. No, it should be only 50 meters. A gust of wind in the mountain blew me off balance. I was blown over like a young, weak, small tree. Yeah, looking at your frame, I wouldn't be surprised. I rolled down the steps along with the mud and rocks. I tried to grab onto anything I could, the trees, the grass, but they all snapped. I was rolling down faster and faster. I felt myself leaving solid ground. I was flying. Whee! I saw the valley beneath me. I pulled out a pin out of my pocket and stabbed forward as hard as I could. A pin's gonna stop this? A murky torrent of mud and rocks rushed down from the top of the mountain. I somehow stuck the pin into the cracks amongst the rock and the cliff. But the torrent was too powerful. I felt weightless. I'd never done bungee jumping before. I imagine it'd probably feel something like this. It's kind of fun, actually. I've done it before. I was falling. I kept falling. After I felt like an eternity, I finally touched the ground. I could feel something sticky coming out of my nose and my ears. It hurt so bad. So bad. I never thought this would be the end of me. I didn't want to end like this. There were so many things I hadn't told him yet. Well, you went. So she accidentally got killed because she was being an idiot. Yeah, you were chasing after him. You still got killed. Well, luckily we have God here. In this modern life, there isn't anything that can't be delivered right to the door. Yet, despite this, there are still things that are beyond our control. For instance, the shipping fee. Or to qualify for free shipping, you have to buy many small filler items, hoping that they'd be useful one day. Or that the tissue always runs out sooner than expected. You know what I mean. I always wrote that down what I needed on my shopping list. And every Tuesday, I would use the list when I was shopping at the nearby supermarket. I would usually go between the supper and evening discount hours. This way I could avoid the afternoon rush hours, as well as the housewives who swarmed in for the discount goods and be done within 30 minutes. However, it wasn't a good day to go out. The weather was extremely bad that night. As soon as I opened the door, huge raindrops kept falling on my head. Raindrops are falling on me, soon I will be dread? Bed? I don't know. Sorry, it's been a while since I've heard that song too. Flying soft for me. Anyway, smacked my face like small pebbles. Thunder exploded as if it was right on top of my head. I opened my umbrella. It was such a stormy evening. I heard that spooky things might come out at night like this. And just when I finished the thought, a ghost! Hey brother, do you want to come play? Come play with us, Daddy. I suddenly heard a childish voice near me. I was so startled I stumbled one step back. I nearly pissed my pants. I stopped and took a closer look. It was a young boy that I'd never seen before. Hey kid, don't play outside in the rain like this. You should go home. I hurried past him without a further thought. Just recently I had become the target of some malicious gossip. The mastermind behind it was an elementary school kid. As a result, I've been feeling easily set off every time I saw these tiny, mischievous young children. Yeah, the young kid tried to frame him for pedophilia even though he didn't do anything with it. However, something didn't feel right. 2 blocks later, a young girl jumped in front of me holding a flowery umbrella and said in a crisp voice, Big brother, would you come play with me? Little girl, you are really cute, but Big brother's not going to play with you. No can do, Beekman. Leave me alone. All you cute boys and cute girls, I'm not in the mood. Wait, is he in the boys? Maybe. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Just like, I held the umbrella lower and kept walking. However, I then mysteriously ran into several more children of similar ages, although all of them were wearing different clothes. Yet they all looked at me with an identical, innocent smile and said exactly the same thing. It was so freaky. I was almost walking as fast as an Olympic race walker. Just a little further. Once I turned around that corner, I could be at the supermarket. Buh! I bumped right into someone, fell to the ground, and my umbrella slipped out of my hand. It wasn't a kid this time, but someone who was very skinny. I couldn't see anything but a dark figure. Thunder kept booming in the clouds. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning. What'd you say again? A bolt of lightning. A blinding bolt of lightning flashed across the sky, almost lit up the entire gray city. The person was covered from head to toe in dark clothes underneath a clear raincoat. His face was mostly hidden behind a mask. I could only see a pair of ice-cold eyes that were glimmering from the flash of the lightning. I felt a chill climb up my spine. Big brother? Brother? A muffled voice came out from under the mask, behind the mask. I couldn't tell whether it belonged to a woman or a man, but I knew it was the most terrifying voice I had ever heard. Could you come play with me? I climbed up off the ground and turned around and ran as fast as I could without even picking up the umbrella. Yet I heard footsteps fall behind me with exactly the same pace as mine. Laughter? Who is that? Why are they chasing me? What was it want with me? Thoughts kept getting scarier and scarier in my head. I tried to shut them out and just kept running. No matter how fast or how far I ran, the footsteps and the laughter were still right behind me. My mother had always complained that I never exercised. She said if I ever ran into a bad guy, I'd be dead because I'd be running too slow. Mother, I promise I'll never fail to listen to you ever again. My legs were getting heavier and heavier. The footsteps behind me were getting closer and closer. Suddenly my left hand was firmly grasped. I turned around, utter terror. I gazed right back into those cold eyes once again. There's no way that those eyes could belong to a normal human being. The dark figure grabbed my wrist tightly with a strength that could be way too powerful for its skinny frame. It then covered my nose and mouth with a damp cloth. A tide of exhaustion suddenly washed over me. Everything went dark. I passed out. When I woke up, I realized I couldn't move. Wait, why was I tied to a table with my arms and legs spread out? Uh-oh. Kind of reminds me of oh, what's that one horror game, first person? Not Conviction. Oh, you go into, well, like all of them. You go into a insane asylum, and you run into a doctor, and in that story, there's a scene where you're naked on a bed. The doctor basically tries to pull you through like a chainsaw, or not, a buzzsaw, like crotch first. Ugh. Yeah, it's pretty heinous. Anyway, I mean, well, actually, if you fail in that scene, I think you have to struggle during that scene. If you fail, you get, pulled through the saw. But yeah, it's a pretty intense scene. Wait, why was it? Anyway, and where had my clothes gone? Oh, good. It is like that story. Big brother. I heard this chilling voice right next to my ear. The masked person had a shiny scalpel in one of his hands this time. He kept brushing the back of his cold scalpel over my thigh, and in his other hand he was holding the gossip newspapers that had a picture of my butt. Big brother, I heard you like little boy lollipops. They're sweet as can. Actually, I should not even gone there. What was I thinking? Take me away, cops. What the hell? I tried to protest. My body felt as heavy as a piece of cast iron. The only sound I could make were some random noises. Actually, I like them too. What? I saw a silver reflection flash through the air. The pain was so intense that even my numb body couldn't ignore it. It looked like a warm, red liquid splash over my body. Didn't expect to hear a scream from the character. The only thought I had before I completely lost consciousness was, damn, I should have gone out. Jimmy. Going out once, immediately, apparently you end up with a serial killer or something like that, so looks like things are bad for both Lee Win and Jimmy. Can we help them out, get them their S ending, or at least something similar to like what Willie described? Find out next time in the next episode of Will, A Wonderful World. Thanks for watching, hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you next time.